Всем привет! И с вами игровой канал Шота. И мы начинаем прохождение такой игры, как Sherlock Holmes, преступление и наказание. Да, и сразу убавим громкость. Так, начнем новую игру, да. Я на первой главе там остановился. Пропустим. Судьба черного Питера. Опа. Кто это стрельнул? О. Ой, ё-моё. Ты поаккуратней давай, дружок.
Holmes, will you stop that?
Хитманы, короче, мы. Хитман. Хитман Absolution, да.
Is that you, Watson?
Yes, of course it is. And you almost killed me.
Nonsense. I was aiming for the vases.
Конечно, чепуха. Ага.
Watson, quiet, please. I'm trying to concentrate.
Типа думает, кто это.
Ah, Lestrade. What is it this time?
He can see me. Well, here it is, and it's a good one, Mr. Holmes. A gentleman by the name of Peter Carey, also known as Black Peter, has been murdered.
A sailor, most probably.
What happened here?
Oh, Mr. Holmes, how could you?
It's the only exercise I've had all week. A grateful client from Limoges sent me a vase collection this morning. I couldn't think of a better use for it.
You're out of your mind.
I missed 4 out of 10.
Given you were blindfolded, that was very good. Can I have a try?
Am I the only sane one here?
I suppose that Watson is right, Inspector. A little brain work would be preferable now. Do please tell us more about Black Peter.
Peter Carey, born in 1845 and 50 years old. An ambitious sort, he achieved much success in seal and whale hunting around Scandinavia. Retired in 1884 with a small fortune. He invested his money in a property called Woodman's Lee, near Forest Row in Sussex. It was where he lived for 6 years, and where he was found dead yesterday.
Has the investigation...
Yes and no. In fact, this crime is so mysterious that I would prefer you to join me down there.
Give me half an hour to prepare, Inspector.
Take your time and join me there. I have to go through the yard first. The merry men struck again.
What have they done this time?
They robbed a powder reserve. I'll meet you at Woodman's Lee, Mr. Holmes.
I should help Mrs. Hudson here. I also have several appointments that I must keep this afternoon.
I shall go alone, then.
Так, что, куда идти-то? Не сюда, наверное.
This is where I keep my post.
Так, тут что? Ничего. Как от первого лица. А, во. Ножик сломанный лежит. Так, а чё? Чё тут у нас? Ничего. Ошибка печатная. Так. Тут что? А тут походу... Ух ты, что это такое? Ух ты, что это гримерный столик? Чё Прикольненько. Только это пока недоступно. О, ну прям не похож сам на себя. Вот это вот, да, маскировка. Окей. А чё на меня оделся сам? Какой еще? О, бандит, фермер. Так вот. О. Не-не-не. Блин, тут был какой-то костюм, прям мне понравился. Нет. Нет. А какой? Этот? Нет. Ну и этот нет. Ну, кстати, вот этот прикольный. Вот. Да. Ну ладно. Так. Не буду я ни с кем говорить, я пойду сразу по делам. Вот сюда, да? О, да, угадал. Так. На этой загрузке он тут тупо будет ехать. Я это пропущу. Так, продолжить. Так, а куда мы приехали? Кстати, лайк, если любите фильм «Чернобыль. Зона отчуждения». Сериал идет сейчас. Лайк, кому нравится фильм, прикольный. Вот сейчас как раз 9:50, все, перепутал. Вот, сейчас начнется. Надо уже серию потихоньку начинать заканчивать. Конечно, я мало записал, но может после фильма продолжу. На паузу поставлю потом. Да.
Mr. Holmes, I'm over here. Come on.
Купон, сюда, давай, давай, давай. Живи сюда, иди.
It seems that the garden was well maintained.
Так, чё, мне сюда?
Mr. Holmes?
Это Холмс.
Mr. Holmes?
It seems that the garden was well maintained.
Так, чё, к тебе нам надо идти или к кому?
Mr. Holmes?
Понятно, ты такой же. К тебе, бабка? Да, к тебе. Так. Долгая загрузка в этой игре. Думаю, поснимать
Inspector
фифу.
Lestrade, when will you remove my
Фифу
husband's
13.
body? It's sacrilegious to leave him here like this.
As soon as we can, Mrs. Carey, I assure you. Allow me to introduce you to Mr. Sherlock Holmes. He's a detective. No doubt you've heard of him. I'll wait for you in front of the cabin, Mr. Holmes.
My condolences, Mrs. Carey.
Thank you, Mr. Holmes.
Так. Да, нашли тело, прошу.
Do you remember at what time you found your husband's body?
In the morning, at around 7 o'clock, I noticed the cabin door was open,
Ага,
but I
понятно.
didn't go in to take a look, for I knew my husband would not have liked it. At around 10 o'clock, I dared to glance in through the door and... Oh dear.
Так, было ли что-нибудь необычное той ночью, спросим у нее.
Madam, can you tell me if you saw or heard anything unusual upon the night of
Кстати,
the
игра
murder?
похожа на этот.
At 2 o'clock in
Lanoy.
the morning, I heard a terrible scream. I thought nothing of it then. He would scream all the time when he was drunk.
Так. Были ли у него гости?
Was your husband accustomed to receiving visitors?
Oh, no, I don't think so. I mean, he didn't really have many friends. He lived quite an isolated life here, after his retirement.
Так, и последние два вопроса. Вечер перед убийством.
Can you please tell me what occurred on the evening of the murder?
Well, Peter got drunk in the evening. He was in
Алкоголик.
such a terrible temper. Usually whenever that happened, he'd stay all night drinking in his cabin before passing out.
Ну и последний вопрос. Есть ли у них садовник? Наверное,
The
нет.
garden is very large and well maintained. Do you employ someone to look after it?
It is true. Well, there is a lot of work, but
Я
my
угадал прям.
husband took care of it himself.
Что делать-то надо?
You have indeed suffered a great loss, Mrs. Carey. Nevertheless, I believe it will be less of a burden for you soon.
Yes. Life with Peter was never easy, but he was still my husband.
He was different, wasn't he, when you first met him upon your return from Plymouth?
Yes, Mr. Holmes. Oh, my goodness, but how do you know about that?
Блин, неправильно.
You have indeed suffered a great loss, Mrs. Carey. Nevertheless, I believe it will be less of a burden for you soon.
Yes. Life with Peter was never easy, but he was still my husband.
He was different, wasn't he, when you first met him upon your return from Plymouth?
Yes, Mr. Holmes. Oh, my goodness, but how do you know about that?
Блин. Опять не то. А что ж тогда то?
You have indeed suffered a great loss, Mrs. Carey. Nevertheless, I believe it will be less of a burden for you soon.
Yes. Life with Peter was never easy, but he was still my husband.
He was different, wasn't he, when you first met him upon your return from Plymouth?
Yes, Mr. Holmes.
Значит, остается один вариант.
Yes, but how do you know
Паломничество.
about that?
You undertook a pilgrimage to the Cathedral of Santiago de Compostela when you were young. That much is evident from the rosary in your hand. The shortest route for the pilgrim from England to Spain is from Plymouth. I believe that you met Peter Carey as a young sailor there, and you married him soon afterwards.
That is indeed what happened, Mr. Holmes. How extraordinary.
Thank you, madam.
Окей, пошли гулять. Так, куда мне дальше? Кстати, чем-то похоже на мою дачу. Только дома другие. Да, сюда мне? Окей, окей. Так. Наверное, серия уже длинная выходит. На час, может, выйдет. Это очень долго.
The door is locked.
Wait just a moment, Mr. Holmes, and I'll open it. I locked it yesterday to ensure that no one should enter the cabin and tamper with the evidence.
Ah, good thinking.
Hello, hello, hello.
What is it, Lestrade?
It seems to me that someone has tried to force it, Mr. Holmes.
Let me see. These scratches are fresh. You're right. Someone tried to force open the door.
I swear these scratches were not here yesterday.
Our mysterious visitor came here last night.
Well, he's not the man for the job.
И
This
я
job
к вам
is not a
вернусь.
difficult
Начался фильм «Чернобыль. Зона
Perhaps he did
отчуждения».
not.
Мой любимый фильм, сериал. И я к вам вернусь. Оказалось, нет, пока что еще не начался. Там пока что идет Comedy Club.
Have the right tool.
Я смотрю там на телевизор, поглядываю. Криминал.
What a terrible way to die. The weapon fully penetrated the body. The force of the blow was immense.
О, магия какая.
This wooden handle is plain and solid.
Ну, вроде больше ничего нету на ноже. Так, блокнотик. Что на блокноте у нас? Инициалы.
JHN are probably the initials of the owner of this notebook. The pattern of the blood stain indicates that the notebook was not lying on the floor prior to the crime, but it was dropped into the pool of blood after the death of Peter Carey.
Ну, вроде... А, вот, крыть еще можно. Тоже какие-то...
These abbreviations
Да, может,
mean
телефонные.
something, but what?
Да, вроде все.
Someone drank from this glass
Два
recently.
стакана.
Rum, a sailor's drink. It seems that Captain Carey was enjoying a drink before he met his death.
Я говорю, алкоголик. Так, опять
The
инициалы.
initials PC have been crudely burned. A sailor's work.
Табачок.
This aroma is familiar, but to...
Не понял, что-то я нифига что делать. Блин, что делать? Я не понимаю. Ладно, пропустить.
Yes. This is a coarse tobacco, quite strong and very popular among sailors.
Так, что, все, мы смотрим? А, нет, смотри.
Old navigation instruments, nothing interesting. Peter Carey's boots. They look
41-й.
to be a size 8.
41-й размер.
Harpoons for hunting whale. The ship's logs of the Sea Unicorn for the years 1878 to 1884. Peter Carey was her captain. Hammerfest.
Так, полка.
The
Ух ты.
tooth of a sperm whale, probably from one of Peter Carey's catches.
Все.
Have you finished inspecting the crime scene?
Так, что там? О, все, я сейчас вернусь. Итак, и Чернобыль еще не кончился, но сейчас уже будет конец, я думаю.
Have you finished inspecting the crime scene?
Да, закончил.
Have you finished inspecting the crime scene?
Mr. Holmes?
Так, надо устроить засаду.
Someone was here yesterday. They attempted to force the door to gain entry.
Think.
Итак, мы
I
продолжаем.
think that we are lucky
And why is that?
because of last night's attempted break-in.
Oh, you've lost me.
It is very probable that whoever came here hoped to find the door open. They tried to force it with a knife blade, but they failed. What will they do? Why, return tonight, when they will be better prepared.
Aha. So what do you propose?
We shall remain on the outside, near the window, where we stand the best chance of catching sight of our visitor. Well, gentlemen, ready your pistols. We have a long night ahead of us.
А чё ж сразу пистолеты? Да.
This looks like the perfect hiding place.
Блин, что так долго грузится игра? Ну, графика прикольная. Наверное, из-за этого. Графика, кстати, да, мне графика очень нравится. Такая графика и не слишком фиговая, и не слишком хорошая, средняя. Так. Давай уже живи, грузись. Так, сидим. Па.
Did you hear that?
Взламывает.
There's someone there. I'm gonna collar him.
I'll be right behind you.
Police! Hold it right there.
Mr. Holmes?
Поймали. Ну, грузись, живи, давай. Время 11, а я летсплей снимаю. Прохождение. Да. Чернобыль кончился.
All right, my fine fellow. Who are you and what are you doing here?
Да. Что
You're
ты тут
detectives, I
делаешь?
suppose. You imagine that I'm connected with the death of Captain Carey. I assure you I'm innocent.
Innocent? And what are you doing in his cabin?
Shall I tell you? You came to retrieve what you had lost after killing Peter Carey, but we were here waiting for you.
What is your name?
John Hopley Nelligan, but I didn't.
Do you deny that you came here yesterday?
No, but yes, it's just that I couldn't.
I'm tired of this. Off we go to the yard. Tomorrow, I'll see that you're put in front of the
О,
judge.
всё, не повезло.
What? But you
Не
can't. I'm
повезло
not-
тебе, чувак.
It's a terrible mistake.
Enough. You can explain all of that to the judge. You're coming with me to the yard.
But
In light of recent events, it seems evident that your coming here was unnecessary. All the same, I'm very grateful to you, Mr. Holmes.
You are welcome, Inspector. But please don't be too hard on our young fellow. I would like to question him tomorrow morning.
Наверное, сейчас мы будем завершаться. Думаю, сначала эту игру пройду, потом буду проходить Хитмана. Пауза. Опять. Хотя нет, может загрузиться быстренько. Хотя ладно, посмотрите, как он едет. Давай, 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 давай. Чего он так долго едет? О, продолжить можно. Загрузилась.
Good morning, Mr. Holmes. Can I help you?
Good morning, Constable. I would like to speak to the fellow who was arrested at Woodman's Lee last night.
Ah, the young man. He's waiting in the interrogation room. You can go straight through. His belongings are held in the evidence room.
Thank you.
Нет, не сюда. Сюда?
These are the suspect's belongings. The notebook that we found on Peter Carey's cabin floor. From R. Dawson. To my friend and partner, 1883. Dawson. I've seen this name before. Perhaps my
Так.
archive holds
Что-то тут нечисто.
a handkerchief with the initials J.H.N. A pocket knife. It was used to force the door of Peter Carey's cabin. Locked.
Ну что ж, допросе мы будем заканчивать.
The police seized this valuable ring from you. Whose is it?
I didn't steal it from anyone. It has always belonged to me.
Не то.
The police seized this value.
I didn't steal it from anyone. It has always belonged to me.
The ring's date of engraving is many years ago. You would have been a child then. hardly in any position to receive such an item from a partner. Does this notebook belong to you?
Yes. But where did you find it? I did not know... I thought I'd lost it at the hotel.
What do these abbreviations mean?
Все.
Oh, no. I beg you, I can't. If I told you, it would only make things worse.
But I will find out eventually, Mr. Nelligan. So, Mr. Nelligan, who is the true owner of the ring?
The ring is mine.
No, Mr. Nelligan. I believe that the ring had belonged to your father.
Oh, but how do you know?
The jacket you are wearing is made of an expensive fabric that only a man of exceptional wealth could afford. You do not seem to me to be a rich man, Mr. Nelligan. Furthermore, the garment is ill-fitting. It is quite clear that it belonged to someone else, most probably your father. With your father gone and taking with him the family's wealth, as a little boy you had to find yourself a manual job, and it was most probably cleaning fish. You cut your hands often while working. I can tell from the scars.
I'm speechless, Mr. Holmes. It all happened exactly as you say.
Well, I will see you soon, young man.
Please, let me go. I'm innocent.
At your service, Mr. Holmes. Mr. Holmes?
С кем говорить-то надо?
Mr. Holmes?
Lock.
Mr. Holmes?
Все, уходите отсюда. Походу, да. Да. Ну, и на этом мы будем заканчивать. Всем спасибо за просмотр, дорогие телезрители. Ждите второй серии. Всем удачи. Всем пока. И чуть не забыл вам сказать. Подписывайтесь на мой канал. Замолчи. Ладно. И ждите новых серий. Всем удачи.